This wheat, yes. You know, I don't remember exactly where when I had read it, but sometime before Wonder Bread during the 1950s, right? They started removing the wheat germ, yes. And then somebody was concerned about radiation in the population. Maybe the military remembers there was a little atomic bomb that went off out there somewhere in Las Vegas. And then they took all the ides out of it and they put some sort of filler in there, maybe some chlorine or some other fake products, the bleaching of the actual flour itself. Yes. But during the 1950s, there was a great concern about radiation. Yes. And the government had a big move so as to reintroduce the products that remove the toxicity of the food supply because of the fear of radiation. Yeah. Now, these glands that happen to be in males, yes. I did a lot of research on that. Iodine, yes, and various products that have iodine in it, yes. And my thought was, well, what if we had really healthy food that had the whole wheat? It had the endosperm, the bran, the germ, yes, the whole fat of it, yes. Now, when I think about exactly what the well, in the 1950s, when they were experimenting with atomic radiation, the government had thought we better make sure the glands are clean. So we're gonna put in some iodine. Yes. Now, if you went back in the United States Army, yes. Let's say you look back in the 1950s, because the Army keeps a lot of records, and just get yourself an actual recipe for bread. Yes. You'll find that the wheat that was being used back then was probably a lot healthier because of the availability of cleaning out the glands because of the fear of radiation. Oh, now as one of those that thinks that wheat should go back to the way it was and sugar should go back to the way it was, yes, I know. It's unrealistic to think that you might be using high fructose corn syrup so as to affect the nerve endings of those that eat it. Now, I know of a lot of individuals that have been involved in the condiment business. Yes. Mhm. And, well, Heinz comes to mind, but of course, Teresa sold her stuff off, and her husband was the Secretary of State of the United States. Now, it was a very tall man. Do you remember who Teresa Heinz had married? John Kerry, yes, ran for president once. Could you get his oath of office? Because I thought his family's fortune was mine. And since it's a community property nation, her family fortune was mine too. Why don't you just give me what they sold for? And the actual individual, oh, Warren, it's Paul. You remember this county, the country elevator? Yes. I wanted to replace those with recycled garbage plastic that is much more sterile. It doesn't have mold. Why don't you give me the tops of all the grain elevators again? And somebody decided to put antennas on the top of them in rural parts of the United States so as to kind of turn the cell phone up or down. I know. I thought we should replace all of them, yes, instead of using concrete. Now there's a grain exchange. Oh, is that right? The commodity, grain exchange. Yes, the CME. I know you're concerned about the market, but we all know how it works, don't we? Yes. Why don't you give me all of those that produce wheat and corn in the United States and exactly how's it going for you? Okay. You know, I'd heard a news report where meat prices were going to stay low because of the tariffs that the White House had decided to use, and a lot of foreign nations don't want to buy our meat. But you would think that with low wheat prices or low meat prices, must be low feed prices. You know the supply and demand. Why don't we look at? Okay, you're not feeding corn fillers and various other grains to the actual livestock that we're. That reminds me, it's going to be Thanksgiving on Thursday. Yes. That oven that you don't use but twice a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yes. Are there any toasters that I'm missing where ovens haven't been turned on? Yes. Could you go through the actual house wiring? Yes. connected to the ovens for those that only microwave, as in TV dinners are good enough for them. Yes, it is. I just want to know every oven that has not been used in the last, 2 to 4 months. It'd be something to amp a whole city. Yes, because you decide to cook a turkey. Yes, you do. Now, 440, can you hear me right now?